Hi guys, JT here, and today I'm bringing you some information on the Humbling Soulslikes Bundle of September 2025. To help you answer the question, should you buy it? By using the links in the description below, you'll gain access to this bundle and support the channel in the process. Before I begin, I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for watching my silly videos. I hope they're helpful, most importantly, knowing that you're watching it means the world. Anyway, let's get into this. At number 1 we have Enotria, The Last Song, a sunlit Souls-like that brings a refreshing Mediterranean twist to the genre. Instead of endless bleak castles and swamps, you're dropped into golden wheat fields, carnival towns, and seaside cliffs inspired by Italian culture. It feels bright, colorful, and instantly distinct from the usual grim aesthetic you expect in this space. As the Maskless, you can collect and equip masks from fallen enemies and bosses, each granting unique buffs and abilities. Pairing these with skills from the game's 4 trees, melee, spellcasting, rogue, or elemental, lets you create versatile builds. The loadout system is flexible, with 3 presets you can swap on the fly. Combat feels closest to Bloodborne, fast-paced, parry-focused, and reliant on aggression, though every enemy encounter encourages experimentation. Where things stumble is in communication. Tutorials often leave you in the dark, with mechanics explained once in Italian terms you might not catch. Spells charge through combat rather than mana, but deciphering charge speeds requires musical knowledge like Presto or Allegro. Add in no map, vague progression hints, and you may find yourself wandering more than fighting. Performance is not spotless either. You'll likely encounter stutters, screen tearing, or even the occasional crash. Some bugs are frustrating, like bosses freezing mid-fight, undercutting the challenge. Still, Enotria shines as a AA game. It's inventive, gorgeous, and adjustable compared to massive epics like Elden Ring. If you want a Souls-like that's both familiar and refreshingly different, this Italian adventure is worth your time. At number 2 we have Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, a Souls-like that mixes the structure of Souls games with the punch of God of War, but trims away the bulk. You play as Nor, a sapper who accidentally unleashes the underworld and now must battle gods and their undead armies. By your side is Enki, a fox-like companion who primes enemies for devastating finishers and adds a magical twist to your arsenal. Combat blends melee weapons with pistols, creating a rhythm of striking and countering. Each swing recharges your firearm, making every attack part of a satisfying loop. Different guns and weapons offer variety, from blunderbusses that knock down crowds to axes that burn through armor. Layered on top are equipment sets with unique synergies, like explosive combos triggered by curses or dodges that become teleports. It's not as deep as a full Souls-like, but there's enough flexibility to experiment. The real highlight here is movement. Flintlock's purple aerial triangles act as grappling shortcuts that let you soar across canyons, ambush musketeers, and stitch together rollercoaster-like paths through sprawling regions. Unlocking them feels rewarding, turning exploration into a joyful puzzle of chained leaps and dashes. However, not everything lands. The story and characters are serviceable, but mostly act as upgrade vendors. Ranged weapons themselves feel like safety valves rather than true extensions of combat. Performance can also dip. Still, the vibrant world design, clever traversal, and snappy 20-hour pace make Flintlock a sturdy, exhilarating Souls-like worth your time, especially if you love battles in the air. The Deluxe edition includes 3 new outfits for Nor. At number 3 we have Steelrising. Steelrising by Spiders marks a significant leap forward for the developer, offering an enthralling Souls-like experience set in an alternate 18th century Paris. As Aegis, an intelligent automaton navigating a city besieged by killer machines amidst political upheaval, you embark on a journey full of responsive combat and satisfying exploration. The game's combat mechanics initially feel unfamiliar due to Aegis' mechanical movements, but they quickly become engaging as you balance between melee and ranged attacks while managing stamina. A unique twist adds depth, as venting heat restores energy, but causes frost damage, requiring strategic decision-making in battles against titans controlled by human minds. Exploration is a highlight, with the world peppered with chests and collectibles that encourages thorough investigation. While the level design can sometimes be confusing, discovering shortcuts and hidden areas reminiscent of Metroidvania games adds to the sense of accomplishment. Customization options abound, with various weapons and armor sets altering Aegis' abilities and stats. Upgrades are fueled by anima, which are currencies dropped by enemies, providing a satisfying sense of progression. Notably, Assist Mode offers accessibility options without penalizing progress, making the game more inclusive for players of all skill levels. Despite some flaws, including repetitive environments, Steelrising showcases Spider's growth as a developer. Aegis' journey through steampunk Paris stands the studio's finest title yet, demonstrating their ability to craft compelling adventures in the ever-evolving Souls-like genre. And number 4 we have Asterigos, Curse of the Stars, an action-adventure game often labeled as a Souls-like due to its stamina-based combat and challenging nature. However, it leans more towards accessibility, earning the title Souls-light. Following the journey of Hilda, a young warrior on the North Wind Legion, you delve into a world reminiscent of the Roman conquest, featuring twists on Greek and Roman gods and legends. Equipped with 6 diverse weapons, including a sword and shield, twin daggers, a massive hammer, a spear, a magical staff or bracers, Hilda's arsenal offers flexibility and depth. You can seamlessly switch between 2 weapons, each of its combos and special abilities, enhancing the combat experience. The addition of elemental states further diversifies your tactics, providing a strategic advantage. Asterigos doesn't follow the traditional Souls-like formula entirely. The absence of a limited healing flask and the ability to collect salves adds a unique touch. While over 20 challenging bosses await you, the game maintains a fair balance, ensuring that death doesn't result in significant setbacks. The narrative unfolds through echoes, magical imprints of past conversations, adding depth to the story. However, the lack of a map or clear navigation can be a drawback, occasionally leaving you uncertain about your next move. Visually, Asterigos doesn't stand out dramatically, but its well-drawn environments and cartoony art style suit the narrative. Despite a few areas where the game falters, such as repetitive combat strategies and an awkward jump mechanic, Asterigos, Curse of the Stars emerges as an excellent adventure game. With a likable protagonist, an intriguing world, and satisfying combat, it offers an engaging experience, especially for those seeking a more accessible entry into the Souls-like genre. And number 5 we have Achilles, Legends Untold, an isometric action RPG that blends Greek mythology with Souls-like mechanics. You take on the role of Achilles as he fights through the fall of Troy, meets his demise at the hands of Paris, and battles his way out of the underworld under Hades' command. With a vast skill tree, plenty of loot, and a flexible difficulty system, the game offers an accessible take on the genre. If you enjoy action RPGs with mythological twists, this game delivers a solid adventure. The combat is fast-paced, with dodging, parrying, and an array of weapons to experiment with. While not as punishing as a true Souls-like, you can tweak the challenge to your liking. Loot lovers will appreciate the steady stream of weapons, consumables, and crafting materials. The game also offers some Metroidvania-style progression, letting you unlock abilities that open new paths. The combat feels floaty, lacking the precision that makes similar games satisfying. You can get overwhelmed by groups of enemies, and despite the variety of weapons, standard sword and shield tactics often work best. The sprawling skill tree is overwhelming, making progression feel more like a chore than a reward. The voice acting, particularly for Achilles, leaves much to be desired. Achilles Legends Untold has ambition, and some enjoyable mechanics, but it never fully realizes its potential. While it is fun in bursts, the imprecise combat and messy progression system keep it from greatness. And number 6 we have Salt and Sacrifice, a punishing yet deeply rewarding action RPG that builds on the legacy of Salt and Sanctuary while forging its own path. From the very beginning, you're branded a criminal and forced to become a marked inquisitor, tasked with hunting down chaotic mages, twisted beings who embody raw magical power. The premise alone sets a grim tone, but the real hook lies in how you experience the story. Slowly, through exploration and scattered conversation, creating an atmosphere that's bleak, oppressive, and strangely captivating. Gameplay feels familiar if you've played its predecessor, but Salt and Sacrifice changes the structure by dividing areas into distinct zones accessed through a hub. Early on, these areas lean more toward platforming with Metroidvania elements, but progression is tied to Inquisitor's tools, each guarded by a boss. These tools unlock new paths, giving you incentive to revisit zones and discover secrets you couldn't reach before. The real highlight, however, is the mage hunts. These intense battles mix exploration with drawn-out encounters where you track mages across levels, fighting them multiple times before finally claiming victory. Each hunt is chaotic, thrilling, and immensely satisfying, especially when you reap crafting rewards to forge powerful gear. Salt and Sacrifice thrives on its ability to balance frustration with exhilaration. It challenges you relentlessly, but rewards persistence with moments of triumph. By refining the foundation laid by Salt and Sanctuary while introducing bold new systems, it emerges as a worthy sequel, one that's brutal, addictive, and worth every ounce of pain. At number 7 we have
ELDERBORN, a first-person melee action game with RPG character progression. You play as a generic barbarian. You can either be a man or a woman, and you're venturing into the city of Germa. The city was once a mighty empire, but when it was besieged by an army led by Janus, it fell silent, never to be heard of again. Rumors go around that there's a great vault, a great prize hidden within its walls, and the elders of your tribe sent you to claim it. This is a first-person melee action game. You can perform light and heavy attacks, block, and kick to kick your next victim into spike traps to disembowel them. Some weapons like spears and sickles will parry instead of blocking. If you time a parry just right, you can decapitate an enemy in a counter-attack. There's also a bonfire, life-giving fountain scattered around the world for you to refill your health, level up your character, and respawn all enemies in the world. The core combat is actually quite fun. Enemies are smart and are quite varied. You have undead soldiers hiding behind shields, acrobatic mummies attacking with sickles, and tricky assassins who can disappear, waiting for an opportunity to backstab you. There are even scorpions who can take your health bar out with a single sting. When multiple types of enemies are fighting you at the same time, that's when combat gets fierce and challenging. If it gets too hard, you can lower the difficulty of the game. The problem with ELDERBORN is the lack of weapon variety. While you technically have 8 weapons, they are sorted into 4 groups: swords, spears, hammers, and dual-wielded blades. Weapons in particular groups basically function the same way. The parry weapons also make non-parry weapons obsolete, as they are more effective in murdering enemies with fast attacks, enabling you to effectively interrupt enemy combat flow. This makes your swords and hammers redundant, which is a shame. While it may not have the same quality as AAA games, it does offer enough fun and does not overstay its welcome.
And that's all for this bundle. This bundle is straight up fire for anyone who is into Souls-likes. Yeah, Steelrising's been bundled before, but pairing it with Enotria, Flintlock, Asterigos, Achilles, ELDERBORN, and Salt and Sacrifice makes this a no-brainer. Even if you already own 1 or 2, the value here is insane, and most of these were wishlist staples for a lot of us. Steelrising might not be on Lies of P's level, but it still slaps for the price. Overall, this bundle is a huge W. Tons of challenging worlds to dive into. In any case, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if this video was helpful, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and maybe consider buying the channel a coffee. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.